welcome to Fairest Creatures 2023, the Sonnets of William Shakespeare. I'm Kirk Benrud, and let's go ahead and start with sonnet number 1.
Hi, I'm Nicola from Poulton-le-Fylde in the northwest of England. Sonnets 1 to 17 are about procreation, and it's pointed out to a fair young lord what a disaster it will be for the world if he doesn't sire children. Sonnet number 1. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. But as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedest thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. That thou art now the world's fresh ornament and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl makes waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's dew by the grave and thee.
Hi, I'm Edith and I'm calling from Edinburgh, Scotland, and I'm reading sonnet number 2.
It's not changed.
Yes, it has.
Well, come on.
When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery, so gazed on now, will be a tattered weed of small worth held. Then being asked, where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes, where an all-eating shame and thriftless praise. How much more praise deserve thy beauty's use, if thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count and make my old excuse, proving his beauty by succession thine. This were to be new, made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feelst it cold.
Hello, I'm John McLinden from Edinburgh in Scotland. Sonnet number 3. Look in thy glass and tell the face thou viewest, now is the time that face should form another, whose fresh repair if now thou not renewest, thou dost beguile the world, unbless some mother. For where is she so fair whose uneared womb disdains the tillage of thy husbandry? Or who is he so fond will be the tomb of his self-love to stop posterity? Thou art thy mother's glass, and she in thee calls back the lovely April of her prime. So thou through windows of thine age shall see, despite of wrinkles, this is thy golden time. But if thou live remembered not to be, die single, and thy image dies with thee.
Hello, my name is Lucile Russing, and I'll be reading sonnet number 4. Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing but doth lend, and being frank, she lends to those are free. Then, beauteous, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largeness given thee to give? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be tombed with thee, which, used, lives the executor to be.
Hello, I'm Cole Russing. I'm coming to you from Cornwall, Falmouth in Cornwall. I have sonnet number 5. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. For never resting time leads summer on to hideous winter, and confounds him there. Sap checked with frost, and lusty leaves quite gone. Beauty o'ered snowed and bareness everywhere. Then were not summer's distillation left, a liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor it, nor no remembrance what it was. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet.
Hello, I'm George Russing, reading sonnet number 6. Then let not winter's ragged hand deface in thee thy summer ere thou be distilled. Make sweet some vile treasure thou some place with beauty's treasure ere it be self-killed. That use is not forbidden usury, which happies those that pay the willing loan. That's for thyself to breed another thee, or 10 times happier, be it for 10 for 1. 10 times thyself were happier than thou art, if 10 of thine 10 times refigured thee. Then what could death do if thou shouldest depart? Leaving thee living in posterity, be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair to be death's conquest and make worms thine heir.
Hello, I'm Tom Atkinson, and I'm singing sonnet number 7. In this sonnet, Shakespeare compares the lifetime of man to a day for the sun. A man is youthful, capable, and admired in the early stages of his life, much like the sun is admired in the early day. But as the sun sets and a man's aging gets the best of him, he's facing frailty and mortality, and those once concerned with man and sun are now inattentive. At night, the sun is forgotten. At death, a man is forgotten, unless he leaves the legacy in the form of a human son. Low in the Orient, when the gracious light lifts up his burning head, each under eye doth homage to his new appearing sight, serving with looks his sacred majesty. And having climbed the steep of heavenly hill, resembling strong youth in his middle age, yet mortal looks adore his beauty still, attending on his golden pilgrimage. But when from highmost pitch with weary car, like feeble-aged he reeleth from the day, the eyes for duty us now converted are from his low track, and look another way. So thou thyself outgoing in thy noon, unlooked on diest, unless thou get us soon.
Hi, I'm Becca. I'm reading sonnet number 8 from Chicago or Elmhurst, Illinois. Music to hear, why hearest thou music sadly? Sweets with sweets war not, joy delights in joy. Why lovest thou that which thou receivest not gladly, or else receivest with pleasure thine annoy? If the true concord of well-tuned sounds by unions married do offend thine ear, they do but sweetly chide thee, who confounds in singleness the parts that thou shouldst spare. Mark how one string, sweet husband to another, strikes each and each by mutual ordering, resembling sire and child and happy mother, who all in one pleasing note do sing, whose speechless song, being many, seeming one, sings this to thee, thou single wilt prove none.
Hi, I'm Judy Dove, and I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, even though it doesn't look like it. I'm reading sonnet number 9, and in sonnet number 9, the poet argues that if the young man refuses to marry for fear of someday leaving behind a grieving widow, he is ignoring the worldwide grief that will be caused if he dies single, leaving behind no heir to his beauty. Is it for fear to wet a widow's eye that thou consumest thyself in single life? Ha, if thou issueless shall have to die, the world will wail thee like a mateless wife. The world will be thy widow and still weep that thou no form of thee hast left behind. When every private widow well may keep by children's eyes her husband's shape in mind. Look what an unthrift in the world doth spend shifts but his place, for still the world enjoys it. But beauty's waste hath in the world an end, and kept unused, the user so destroys it. No love toward others in that its bosom sits, that on himself such murderous shame commits. And I am going to turn this over now to my husband, Kirk.
Hello, I'm Kent Dove in Raleigh, North Carolina, reading Sonnet 10. This sonnet, expanding the couplet that closes Sonnet 9, accuses the young man of a murderous hatred against himself and his family line, and urges him to so transform himself that this inner being corresponds to his outer graciousness and kindness. Sonnet 10. For shame deny that thou bearest love to any, who for thyself art so unprovident. Grant, if thou wilt, thou art beloved of many, but that thou none lovest is most evident. For thou art so possessed with murderous hate that against thyself thou stickest not to conspire, seeking that beauteous roof to ruinate, which to repair should be thy chief desire. Oh, change thy thought, that I may change my mind. Shall hate be fairer lodged than gentle love? Be as thy presence is, gracious and kind, or to thyself at least kind-hearted prove. Make thee another self for love of me, that beauty still may live in thine or thee.
Hi, I'm Michele Harris. I'm reading Sonnet 11, and being part of this whole group of sonnets talking about having children is kind of odd for me because I'm childless by choice. So I'm one of the ones that are going to decay without replicating myself. So this was a little odd. I have enjoyed watching Patrick Stewart read the sonnets. So if you haven't done that, that's a lot of fun. And I'm reading from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, where I spent the weekend. As fast as thou shalt wane, so fast thou growest, in one of thine, from that which thou departest, and that fresh blood which youngly thou bestowest. thou mayst call thine when thou from youth convertest. Herein lies wisdom, beauty, and increase. Without this, folly, age, and cold decay. If all were minded so, the time should cease, and 80 years would make the world away. Let those whom nature hath not made for store, harsh, featureless, and rude, barrenly perish. Look whom she best endowed, she gave thee more, which bounteous gift thou shouldst in bounty cherish. She carved thee for her seal, and meant thereby thou shouldst print more, not let that copy die.
Okay, all right. So my name is Angela Lowden, and I'm in San Angelo, Texas. I'm going to read sonnet number 12. When I do count the clock that tells the time, and see the brave day sunk in hideous night, when I behold the violet past prime, and sable curls all silvered o'er with white, when lofty trees I see barren of leaves, which erst from heat did canopy the herd, and summer's green all girded up in sheaves, borne on the bier with white and bristly beard. Then of thy beauty do I question make, that thou among the wastes of time must go, since sweets and beauties do themselves forsake, and die as fast as they see others grow. And nothing 'gainst time's sky can make defense, save breed to brave him when he takes thee hence.
Hi, I'm Amanda Almodovar from Burlington, North Carolina. I'm going to read sonnet number 13 for you guys today. Oh, that you were yourself, but love you are no longer yours, then you yourself here live. Against this coming end you should prepare, and your sweet semblance to some other give. So should that beauty which you hold in lease find no determination, then you were yourself again after yourself's decease, when your sweet issue from your sweet form should bear. Who lets so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry and honor might uphold, against the stormy gusts of winter's day and barren rage of death's eternal cold? Oh, none but unthrifts, dear my love, so you know, you had a father, let your son say so.
Hello, I'm Susanne Blomer, reading from Madrid, Spain. This is Sonnet 14 in English and German. Not from the stars do I my judgment pluck, and yet methinks I have astronomy, but not to tell of good or evil luck, of plagues, of dearth, or season's quality. Nor can I fortune to brief minutes tell, pointing to each his thunder, rain, and wind, or say with princes if it shall go well, I oft predict that I in heaven find. But from thine eyes, my knowledge I derive, and constant stars, in them I read such art, as truth and beauty shall together thrive. If from thyself to store thou wouldst convert, or else of thee, this I prognosticate, thy end is truth, and beauty's doom and date. Die Schrift der Sterne kann ich nicht ergründen, und doch will ich Astronomie verstehen. Doch nicht um Glück und Unglück zu verkünden, Krieg, Teurung, Fruchtbarkeit vorauszusehen. Das Schicksal wird von mir nicht ausgelegt, bestimmen Sonn und Regen jeder Stunde. Und ob ein Fürst beglückt die Krone trägt, davon gibt das Gestirn mir nicht die Kunde. Aus deinen Augen nur schöpf ich mein Wissen, das strahlt aus diesen wandellosen Sternen. Uns würde Treu und Schönheit nie entrissen, wollst du der Liebe sanfte Lehren lernen. Sonst, prophezei ich dir, stirbst du ohne Erben. Mit deinem Tod muss Treu und Schönheit sterben. I would like to add something. Shakespeare's sonnets have always been very popular in Germany, and no other works except for the Bible maybe has been translated so often. I chose today Dorothea Tieck's translation because she was the first to translate the entire collection of the sonnets into German, and that was nearly 200 years ago. Back then, it was published under a male pseudonym. So today I took this opportunity to honor Dorothea Teague by reading her translation. Thank you.
Hi, that was wonderful, wonderful. My name is Waceke, Wambaa, and I will be reading Sonnet 15, and I'm reading from Durham, North Carolina today. When I consider everything that grows, holds imperfection but a little moment, that this huge stage presenteth not but shows, whereon the stars in secret influence comment, when I perceive that men as plants increase, cheered and checked even by the self-same sky, vaunt in their youthful sap, at height decrease, and wear their brave state out of memory, then the conceit of this inconstant stay sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay, to change your day of youth to sullied night, and all in war with time for love of you. As he takes from you, I engraft you new.
I'm Dick Hayden, reading from Apex, North Carolina. The first 17 sonnets are often referred to as the procreation group. They advise a beautiful young man to marry and procreate so that his beauty will be replicated and preserved in his children against time's ruinous process of decay. In the first of two linked sonnets, 15 and 16, the poet suggests that the young man can be kept alive not only through procreation, but also through poet's verse. He argues in Sonnet 16 that procreation is a mightier way than poetry for the young man to stay alive, since the poet's pen cannot present him as a living being. Sonnet 16. But wherefore do not you a mightier way make war upon this bloody tyrant time, and fortify yourself in your decay with means more blessed than my barren rhyme? Now stand you on the top of happy hours, and many maiden gardens yet unset with virtuous wish would bear your living flowers, much liker than your painted counterfeit. So should the lines of life that repair, which this time's pencil or my pupil pen, neither inward worth nor outward fair, can make you live yourself in the eyes of men. To give away yourself keeps yourself still, and you must live, drawn by your own sweet skill.
Hi, I'm Sharon Silcox, and I'm reading from Baltimore, Maryland. This is Sonnet 17. Who will believe my verse in time to come, if it were filled with your most high deserts? Though yet heaven knows it is but as a tomb which hides your life and shows not half your parts. If I could write the beauty of your eyes, and in fresh numbers number all your graces, the age to come would say, this poet lies. Such heavenly touches ne'er touched earthly faces. So should my papers, yellowed with their age, be scorned, like old men of less truth than tongue, and your true rights be termed a poet's rage and stretched meter of an antique song. But were some child of yours alive that time, you should live twice, in it and in my rhyme.
So I will be reading Shakespeare's sonnet number 18, and it is a radical departure, quote unquote, radical departure from the previous sonnets, where the beauty that is referenced here is even more perfect than a day in summer, not threatened by time or death, and the person will live in perfection forever in the poet's verses, per the Folger Shakespeare Library. So without further ado, sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his golden complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines in time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
I was quite looking forward to doing it. Okay, so here we go. Guitar sounds good. Everything sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds great.
All right. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a day. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Gross, and I'm in New York City. I'm reading Sonnet 19. Devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws, and burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood. Make glad and sorry seasons as thou fleets, and do whate'er thou wilt, swift-footed time, to the wide world and all her fading sweets. But I forbid thee one more heinous crime. O carve not with thy hours my love's fair brow, nor draw no lines there with thine antique pen. Him in thy course untainted do allow for beauty's pattern to succeeding men. Yet do thy worst, old time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young.
Well met, everybody. This is Joseph Laterio Maimone reading Shakespeare's sonnet number 20. A woman's face with nature's own hand painted, hast thou, the master mistress of my passion. A woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change as is false women's fashion. An eye more bright than theirs, less false in rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazeth. A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, which steals men's eyes and women's souls amazeth. And for a woman wert thou first created, till nature as she wrought thee fell a doting, and by addition me of thee defeated, by adding one thing to my purpose nothing. But since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure.
Hi, I'm Monica Szabo-Nyeste. I am in Durham, North Carolina, and I will be reading sonnet number 21 today. So it is not with me as with that muse, stirred by a painted beauty to his verse, who heaven itself for ornament doth use, and every fair with his fair doth rehearse, making a couplement of proud compare with sun and moon, with earth and sea's rich gems, with April's firstborn flowers, and all things rare that heaven's air in this huge rondure hems. Oh, let me, true in love, but truly right, and then believe me, my love is as fair as any mother's child, though not so bright as those gold candles fixed in heaven's air. Let them say more that like of hearsay well, I will not praise that purpose not to sell.
Hi, I'm Meredith DiPaolo Stevens, and I am in Mogai. There we go, in Scotland. I don't see me. Is that a problem?
We can see you.
Oh, lovely, perfect. Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right, this is Sonnet 22. My glass shall not persuade me I am old, so long as youth and thou are of one date. But when in thee time's furrows I behold, then look I death my days should expiate. For all that beauty that doth cover thee is but the seemly raiment of my heart, which in thy breast doth live as thine in me. How can I then be elder than thou art? Therefore, love, be of thyself so wary as I, not for myself, but for thee will, bearing thy heart, which I will keep so chary as tender nurse her babe from faring ill. Presume not on thy heart when mine is slain, thou gavest me thine, not to give back again.
Hi, I'm Nancy Belford. I'm in Lillington, North Carolina. I also don't see me or hear me.
We can see you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm reading Sonnet 23. This sonnet, the prelude says, having committed himself perhaps more than he intended, the poet now has to explain why at times he is tongue-tied in his love's company. It is, he says, mainly due to the magnitude of his love, the hugeness of it being such that it becomes like a burden almost too large to carry. He is like an actor who cannot remember his lines, or a wild beast in a fury, thrashing around in futility, unable to achieve anything. Let his love come to the rescue by understanding his looks, how they speak silently, how they foretell the store of love which is buried within, even more so than the others, who so glib with tongue, although love is blind, he has the ability, if he wishes, to hear with his eyes. As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart, so I, for the fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, overcharged with burden of mine own love's might. Oh, let my looks be then the eloquence and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ, to hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Hello, my name is Victoria Bender. I'm reading from Savannah, Georgia, and I'm going to be reading sonnet number 24. Mine eye hath played the painter and hath stelled thy beauty's form and table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein 'tis held, and perspective that is best painter's art. For through the painter must you see his skill to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. Mine eye hath drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to peep, to gaze therein on thee. Yet eyes this cunning want to grace their art. They draw but what they see, no, not the heart.
Hi, my name is Rachel Horowitz. I am from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I'm reading sonnet number 25. Let those who are in favor with their stars of public honor and proud titles boast, whilst I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, unlooked for joy in that I honor most. Great princes' favorites their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride lies buried, for at a frown they in their glory die. The painful warrior, famous for fight, after 1,000 victories once spoiled, is from the book of honor raised quite, and all the rest forgot for which he toiled. Then happy I that love and am beloved, where I may not remove nor be removed.